morning, guys.
We survived that 28-hour bus ride.
Yeah, a lot of blogs have had it dubbed the bus ride of
from
hell.
And here we are today, and we are sitting in the beautiful Laos in our Airbnb guest house.
In Luang Prabang. I have to say that I was remarkably pretty comfortable in the bus ride overall.
That's because you took up 2 chairs.
That is true. I had no one sitting in front of me, so I could drape my legs over the other seat, and it almost took up, so I was taking up 2 loungers, essentially.
We want to just kind of give you kind of an overview of our experience, so if you're thinking about doing it, you'll have some helpful tips.
Okay, now, most important, there are 2 different buses. There's the one that we did, which is Sin Tours. It's like S-I-N-H. And then there's another one. The other one is cheaper, but I have heard that that one's really, really bad. This one, at least, is pretty comfortable.
When we bought the tickets on goasia.com, you're supposed to arrive at your location for a bus pickup about half an hour before your departure time. The departure time really is like a meeting time where you're going to get gathered up with all the other people who are going to be taking that bus, and you'll get shuttled to the actual bus location, which is kind of outside the city, and that added about an hour onto our time. So we really didn't actually leave until 6:30.
It was really, really bad traffic, so it took forever just to get to the bus station. Then we had to wait for more people to come before the bus thought that it was adequate enough to go.
The bus in itself was really surprising. I mean, seriously, you walk in, you have to take off your shoes, you get a bag and you put your shoes in it, and then you see it's like a double-decker. Except in our case, our bus, the lower seats didn't have any window. So the bus driver actually set up all the foreigners in the very back, and we all had our own individual seats that were up high.
I recommend taking one of the top ones instead of the lower, because you're going to have people climbing over you all the time if you're on the lower section. Plus, with the top one with ours, we had the windows so we could look out and see stuff. There was some beautiful, beautiful scenery when it was the daytime.
The reason we don't recommend the bottom seats is not only because you don't have a window seat, but apparently all the aisles are padded. And so actually halfway through our trip, the bus drivers, there was 3 of them in total, would change out, and they ended up sleeping on the ground in the aisle. So you don't recommend having the bottom seats because you might roll over and have someone's face in your face, and just for own personal space. We did feel prepared for this trip. I brought 2 rolls of toilet paper. We brought like 3 jugs of water. We had like 4 loaves of bread, trail mix, and some other snacks that we bought at a convenience store. It is really nice. They do give you a blanket, and they do stop pretty frequently, about every 4 hours. Just be aware if you're a female that you're gonna have to go find a bush somewhere. And luckily I woke Eric up and just had him make sure that he was making sure.
I was the spotter.
Yeah, he was the spotter, so that I'd have kind of privacy. So we did stop on the side of the road pretty frequently, and then like I said, we had 2 rest stops, which made it really convenient. Most people that we were with, other travelers who are foreigners, took the time to eat, so you have plenty of time.
Now, if you are a girl and you don't have a spotter or someone that can help you out, they do give you blankets, and I would recommend maybe taking the blanket out with you, and you could wrap it around yourself, just, you know, as a barrier, so if someone did come by, they wouldn't be able to see.
We ended up arriving, being plunked in outside the city of Luang Prabang, and then luckily a group of us that rode the bus together kind of all pitched in, and we got a tuk-tuk into town. We didn't have a reservation for Airbnb though.
If it had been much longer, I've actually read a lot of blogs that the bus drivers, they will get you into town, and then they'll just shut off the bus, and people will sleep there overnight till in the morning when you can go to, you know, the coffee shops or your reservations. But because we had gotten there at I think like 7 o'clock or so, we had to find accommodation because the bus took off right afterwards. So it was luckily enough that we called our Airbnb. They still had an open availability for that day, so we were able to get into our accommodations early, which is nice.
Keep in mind when you are on the bus that you might make some detours, which you might be a little frustrated about. Eric is really into maps, and so he actually noticed right off the get-go that when we started rolling, we ended up going in the wrong direction.
These buses, they also double as
couriers.
Couriers, yeah, they'll pick stuff up and drop stuff off. We went 300 kilometers south before going west towards Laos. So we didn't even start heading towards Laos for the first 5-6 hours, which is crazy. And then, as you'll see in some of my little videos that I made, they were I think, lining some packages on the inside of the bus.
I think the biggest advice in a 24 to 36 hour time frame is don't book yourself too heavily overboard, because you might run into having that bus time extended. And like, let's say you have a tour plan, I would give yourself like a half a day at least leeway to make sure that you're not going to be stressed out. And if anything, there's plenty of hostels, plenty of guest houses all around us in this area. It seems like a pretty small town.
It is a pretty small town.
So you're not going to be out in the dry. And which was really nice is when we first got here.
Left out.
Yeah. When we first got here, it was really nice and comforting that there was a night market and right in the city, and so you're gonna have plenty of accommodations and food choices like right when you get in the city. Our main tips for you are as follows. Plan ahead, so have plenty of, if you're female, toilet paper, water, food, and snacks to hold you over for a day and a half.
Make sure that you have some sort of device that you can connect to Wi-Fi that has a charge when you arrive, because we didn't know where our Airbnb was. We had to find a place that had a charger and had some Wi-Fi so we could get just enough charge on there to call our Airbnb.
Give yourself at least a day and a half, some leeway, some time to play with, just in case your bus is delayed.
We had a semi-truck that was off the road and we were stuck there for an hour and a half while our drivers made a makeshift road to pull the bus around on a corner. So be prepared for that.
We'll talk about this more in detail, but give yourself extra money, because in our case, when we went through the border, we almost didn't make it through the border because we didn't have enough money.
We were 100,000 dong short because there was some new extra service charges than had been previously told to us.
So plan ahead and have extra cash at hand, whether you want to stop and eat something at a rest stop, or if you want to make sure that you get through that border crossing.
One biggest thing, there's tons of blogs saying ride of hell and 36, 48 hour bus rides. Now, some of those are because the bus broke down, stuff like that. Throw out all those reservations. If you get the Sin Tour bus, at least, those buses are pretty comfortable. Amanda's a woman. She had okay time going to the bathroom, so don't be too worried about that. If you're prepared, it should be comfortable enough.
You've gotta take it slow.